The game. The chosen one. The saviour of French Counter-Strike. The best in the world. Or simply, Zywoo. Mathieu Herbeau is a player of many names and even more accolades. 2023 was a great year for a lot of the best players in the world, but for him, it was the one which sets up his assault on the title of the greatest ever. Adding the biggest team accolade to his host of personal ones propelled Zywoo into the stratosphere among the true greats, and will almost certainly secure him another #1 spot in the HLTV Top 20. So just how close is Zywoo to the GOAT debate, and what does his 2024 look like? Let's go back to the start. Like most prodigies, his gifts were obvious very early. Even before he'd finished school, Zywoo was the talk of the town. His freakish numbers and innate understanding of the game, albeit at a much lower level than he's at right now, made him one of the most exciting teenagers in the world. It was said that he had to turn down big money offers before he even finished school, because his family believed that was best for him. Either they didn't have faith that he'd be as good as he is and would make them a fortune, or they had so much faith that they thought it didn't matter if they waited a year. Regardless, Zywoo instantly made the step up and did to the Tier 1 teams what he'd been doing to teams at Frenchadelphia or whatever the local French lands are called. Within a year or two, Zywoo was already in conversation for the best player in the world, and has since traded the top spot back and forth with Simple. It felt like those two were destined to be Counter-Strike's answer to Messi and Ronaldo, or Oasis and Blur, for years and years, but in 2023, due to a myriad of personal issues, Simple was below his best, and now understandably has benched himself to sort things out. This leaves Zywoo with a relatively free run at top to really stretch that gap between him and the rest, but it hasn't been all plain sailing in CS2. It seems a bit silly now, but honestly, first people were asking if Zywoo had fallen off a bit in CS2. The AWP isn't quite as ubiquitous now as it was in CSGO, and Zywoo had to adjust. We all know he can be a world-class rifler, but the immediate adjustment wasn't as smooth as it was for, say, Robs. Robs at the start of CS2 was quite clearly the best player in the world actually. He put in the graft and adjusted quicker than the rest. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, and Robs had buckets of both. Unfortunately for him, Zywoo is the chosen one. It took a little while, but by the time of full finals, Zywoo was online. Vitality brought in Mezzi to add some British beef to the French dip, but even before Mezzi seemed to start flying, Zywoo had taken over. Robs is brilliant, he's superb, but he was also powerless to stop Destiny in both Copenhagen and Abu Dhabi, and could quite possibly be powerless to stop Zywoo from winning everything this year. Vitality's success over previous frontrunners' phase coincided with Mezzi's arrival, and his selflessness combined with his mechanics make him an ample replacement for Magisk, and put Vitality back to the top spot they controlled for so long last year. It's given Zywoo the platform to do what he does best: art. So what can we expect from him this year? If the end of 2023 is anything to go by, we can expect Zywoo to shit down everyone's throats, metaphorically. Vitality looked untouchable at the final two Blast events of the year, and it's hard to see anyone toppling them right now. Zywoo seems like the only player whose AWP works properly in CS2, and Vitality have only lost 2 maps in their last 18. The last team to look this dominant was probably Na'Vi in 2021 really, and they had other issues that broke them apart outside of the server. Funnily enough, they also had the other contender for the best player in the world at the time. Zywoo has a chance to really put his foot on the neck of the GOAT conversation and force us to only consider him this year. The general consensus is that he didn't have enough time to be the CSGO GOAT, but he is just in time to make CS2 his. He didn't quite win enough in CSGO, but he's on the best team in the world, and the other best player in the world is currently not here to stop him. Unless something crazy happens, Zywoo is in pole position. But a year is a long, long time in Counter-Strike. For example, this time last year we were looking at Heroic as the best team in the world, set to start winning trophies. Outsiders, well, they were still outsiders, and they just won a major and was 2nd in the world. Furia was 6th, Mouse had Dexter, Donk probably wasn't even born yet, Ents weren't even in the top 10. Hell, in a year, Ents became a top 3 team, lost 4 of their players and became a Polish team. My point is, Zywoo is in pole position right now, but predicting the future in a year is near impossible in Counter-Strike, never mind more than that. CS2 offers a blank slate for everyone, but Zywoo's resume speaks for itself. He is the smartest player in the world on the best team in the world, and he is outside and you better watch out. Or maybe we'll be talking next year about how Donk became the best player in the world, or Morrissey made the league. Will Zywoo be the GOAT in CS2? Only the YouTube commenters have the truth on that one.